Hello, you snacks. Welcome back. It is great to see you again. Before we get into today's stories, I just want to make a personal thank you to all of you. As I've mentioned numerous times, I have a busy life schedule outside of making these story reads, so to be back on here and more consistent again and seeing all your love and affection in the comments, honestly, really appreciate it. Anyway though, let's get on to the stories. A video all about people's personal screw-ups today, beginning with this tale from 2 days ago. Today I fricked up by bringing my girlfriend to a Harry Styles concert. Gentlemen, if there's one thing you should learn from this experience, it's to ban your partner from any possible viewership towards a Harry and a Styles. I never thought I would be in this position. I never thought I would want to break up with my girlfriend because she's in love with a celebrity. But here I am, scrolling through Reddit, looking for advice on how to handle this situation. It all started when I, a 22 male, brought my girlfriend, who's also 22, to see Harry Styles in concert. I thought it would be a great gift to bring her since we were both big fans of him. I was excited to see him perform, but my girlfriend was over the moon. She had been a huge fan of his for years, and she couldn't wait to see him live. As we watched the concert, I could see the pure joy and excitement on her face. She was singing along to every song, dancing in her seat, and grinning from ear to ear. I couldn't help but feel a little envious of the connection she had with him. After the concert, we went back to our hotel room, and she couldn't stop talking about Harry. She talked about how amazing he was, how talented he was, and how she was in love with him. I didn't know what to say. Nothing toxic there, just someone prioritizing their parasocial relationships over their real legitimate ones. In the weeks that followed, she started to withdraw from me. She spent all of her time watching Harry's interviews, listening to his music, and reading fan theories about him online. She even started to dress like him and adopt his mannerisms. Starting to dress like him? She's starting to wear long skirts now? Disgusting! I tried to talk to her about it, but she didn't want to listen. She said that Harry was her true love and that she couldn't be with someone who didn't understand her passion for him. I don't know what to do. I love my girlfriend, but I can't compete with Harry Styles. And I don't want to be with someone who is more in love with a celebrity than with me. I'm at a loss. I don't know if I should try to fight for my relationship or if I should just let her go. All I know is that I need advice, and I hope that someone on Reddit can help me. So, what's the advice for this? I think it's clear what you have to do. You have to frick Harry Styles first to make her jealous. Show her who loves Harry more. Show dominance! Yeah, this relationship can only go in one direction. So yeah, look, it isn't too surprising that there are some people out there who have these extremely problematic parasocial relationships with strangers that they just adore online or on stage. Some, though, even sympathize, or theorize at least, that this is just her exploring herself and her personalities and likes and dislikes. But what do you think about that? Someone in their 20s, as a way to explore themselves and understand what they truly love about themselves and life and expression. How dare OP feel like he's being emotionally cheated on? The fact that if this stranger, because he is a stranger, approached her randomly in front of him and said, hey, let's bang, she'd be like, hell yes, yes, that's a healthy dynamic to have. Some even have personal experiences to this kind of person, and yeah, it does vary from person to person, but female fans generally have a more obsessive personality towards famous stars. Though that said, there's far more male fans who have killed their stars versus women. Point is though, this crazy isn't something you should tolerate in a relationship, and they should get the frick out. This story was posted 2 days ago, and we got some quick updates that, in summary, first update deciding to actually have a conversation about this, and the second update revealing that yes, they broke up. So huzzah! Happy ending! No need to get a British haircut in order to fill into her desires. We'll now move on to the title story of this video. Reasons why I didn't read it first was so that YouTube's demonetization bot wouldn't attack me. It's another person's frick up of the day. The title being, Today I Fricked Up by Telling My Partner of 4 years that I used to do porn. Now the OP in this story is a male. And at first you're going to think, well, this is a bit unfair to want to leave a person just because of their history in the industry, especially as a male. What if we reverse the genders here? Would that be equally fair? But you'll soon find out through the comments that, nope, No, this man deserves to be left. I, a 42 male, told my partner, who's also 40, I used to perform in X-rated films in the early 2000s, and now she wants to break up with me and completely cut me off. During my early 20s, I got involved in adult content due to a girl I had an intimate relationship with. I completely regret it and never told any of my partners. Basically, without getting too into the details, I was basically asked to ejaculate inside the mouth or on the face of the girls who were being casted. Usually 7 to 10 guys would take part and one by one do the same. As a young man, I was having too much fun and was cherishing every moment during those days. I did more stuff, but that's besides the point. I finally told my significant other about this for some reason, and she is in complete and utter disgust. My partner is seriously considering filing for a divorce. She has already gone to her parents for Christmas and is not answering my texts or calls. I have completely changed, and if I could, would not even think about some of the stuff I did in those videos. Again, even disregarding the fact that, okay, he was enjoying this history of his, and it's not like he was forced to do this to make ends meet. It's still someone working in a specific industry who, regardless, clearly regrets it now and wants to move on past it, and was hoping to confide in their partner who clearly couldn't respect it. After all, he is completely changed, and he completely regrets it. So what's this top comment talking about, huh? According to your comment history, it appears you were talking to an escort thread, talking about a recent experience you had? Unless one of these stories is made up, I bet the marriage was already on the rocks. Yes, turns out this guy frequents various subreddits as early as a few days ago. And look, it's one thing to have your own personal interests, that's totally fine. It's not an issue that this person has a libido that's the problem with what this story is implying. It's simply fascinating to know that these are the things he's saying online. In regards to something that I thought would be censored but was immediately shown to my face, so we're just gonna look at the title. He thinks, "Stop lying, that duck ain't doing nothing after the damage Dread did to your womb. Hope your dad watches the Dread scene and busted one to his daughter." Sounds a lot like someone who's regretted their actions in this sort of industry. Definitely doesn't have a huge history of consistently going back to it for his own entertainment. But yes, about a month ago, our wonderfully grown and matured OP went onto this subreddit, and what it seems like made this post themselves about feeling extreme regret and guilt. Over what? Well, let's see what it's about here. A commenter says, "Oh, that's just post-nut clarity. You are fine." To which the OP has said, "Is it morally wrong if I meet up with her again? Wouldn't it be considered exploitation maybe? She is basically down to do anything as long as I pay, and even then her prices are chump change. Not to mention remember, this is a 42-year-old. What's his request in this BBG chat? More 18-year-olds, please." Is this man who regrets his past, or is he merely desperate to experience it once again? It's been a day since this was posted. I am going to imagine this person's just forgotten their Reddit password, because at this point I'm surprised they haven't already mass deleted everything. Again, let's clarify here. It's okay to have kinks, or any sort of fetishes you like. The problem is when you try and degrade yourself on the internet as some victim of disrespect, yet have concrete evidence of being a cheater. Moving over now to relationship advice. With a recent story from someone who's had to mass delete everything because they were smart enough to do so. The story was titled, "Will my husband ever take me back? How long do I wait?" And just to give you an insight to this story, a comment says, "You're currently knocked up with your affair partner's kid, so I'm guessing a while, if ever." So I, female 42, had an affair. I had a man mistress, male 48. It was the biggest, stupidest mistake of my life. I know. It's over now, and my husband, who's 40 male, hasn't divorced me yet, but got his own place, and I have a separate place. But it sucks. He visits me once a week. He won't be intimate or kiss. He says he cares about me still and doesn't want to see me suffer. He said he didn't divorce yet, so I can stay on health insurance as I became pregnant from my affair partner. My husband visited the other day and said, "Move on from me if you have to have someone." He said he doesn't want to live with me. I'm enjoying my freedom. Never wants to put our money together again. Is hurt and can't trust me. He said maybe we'll be together again someday, maybe in a couple years, but not right now. The thing is, we also have kids together.
Oh my god.
One is grown, but one is a middle schooler. I even offered to live together for our child's sake and not combine money, and one of us can sleep on the couch. he still won't budge. He also makes sure to tell me that he isn't dating and doesn't plan to. He says, I'm a monk now. No one has caught my fancy like you did. He even cries on some visits saying how much I hurt him. I guess I know he needs time, and I guess what I wonder is, does it sound like there's any hope? How long do I wait? He knows I'm sorry. I don't see what else I can do. He says vague things like, if you love me, prove it. He also says he refuses to be intimate because he's punishing me. In case you wonder, of the affair, Dad, well, he left me at 12 weeks and now tells everyone I made up the pregnancy, even after talking directly to my doctor. I try to reach out to him to see if he wants to be involved or anything, but he won't talk to me. I had apologized for a fight we had, and I ended that text with bye for now, and he wrote back stupidly, how about bye for good, because he's a deadbeat mean idiot. We basically broke up because I told him, more or less, that I wanted my husband back. Married 10 years. Yes, a tragic experience by OP. Feeling betrayed and lost from their partner after she, betrayed him herself. So of course the biggest comments are immediately saying that this is really all on you, your own fault, you don't deserve him. You are extremely lucky he's being generous to let you still be a part of his life to this degree even. Which, yes, totally agree, but this is unfortunately a circumstance that involves, well, 3 kids now. Of course, the currently born children should be fine being single-parented at their age, but with this baby along the way, part of me finds it hard to tell her to just deal with it on her own when this is a literal child's, or potential child's life that could be affected very seriously. Which is why I have to commend the husband here for doing this. He's being the new age kind of man where he acknowledges that a child is a child, regardless of flesh and blood, and keeping her on the health insurance, despite her betraying him, is probably the best thing he can do on his end that both keeps her completely distant from him, while also giving this child a chance to actually have a healthy birth. Otherwise, I don't think there's much more to say about this. I mean, what would you provide or offer as a circumstance to this situation? With that said, we'll move on to the next story. Over on Am I the A-hole, where a man asks a simple question that anyone would tend to do when they're an adult with kids and a family to take care of. Am I the A-hole for leaving for a ski trip while my wife and kids were asleep? Come on. The fact you have to ask yourself that. Like, what do you think it's gonna go? But let's give him a chance, they might have legitimate reasons. My wife and I have a daughter, Chloe, who's 4. She has autism and developmental delays. Chloe gets very clingy to my wife when she doesn't feel well, and she's basically been sick since Halloween. One thing she does when she doesn't feel well is refuse to sleep without my wife. So almost every night for the past month and a half, my wife and Chloe have been sleeping in the guest room. Problem is, Chloe is a kicker and likes to sprawl out, so my wife doesn't sleep well when she's sleeping next to Chloe. To let her get some rest, I've been getting up an hour and a half every day so I could take Chloe in the mornings. I get her dressed, do her hair, give her breakfast, and drop her off at daycare/play with her on weekends while my wife locks herself in the guest room. Oh great, so you're doing your part as a parent. Why have you written it out as if that's a bad thing? This has been exhausting, so when my friends invited me on a ski trip last weekend, I obviously wanted to go. I tried to tell my wife about it, but she shut it down immediately. I thought she was being unfair because at least she gets a break in the mornings and when Chloe's at daycare. I don't get a break. So, last weekend, I packed up and left the house before Chloe and my wife woke up. I sent her a text telling her where I am and when I'll be back. When I got back, there was a note saying Chloe and my wife were staying with my wife's family and that she hopes the trip was worth it. The only time she's spoken to me is when she texted me a picture of Chloe at a park to let me know that she's okay. My friends all say she's overreacting and that she shouldn't keep my kid from me, but my mum called me and cursed me out for leaving my wife with Chloe over the weekend. Am I the a-hole? First of all, I'm going to assume that all your friends are a-holes. That or the kind of parent who like to distribute all their children's responsibilities onto their partner. Because hey, oh, the kids just like them more. Like, I think we can all mutually agree. I mean, feel free to say otherwise. But Chloe getting very clingy to the wife, specifically when being sick, but no doubt in many other circumstances, possibly due to the fact that this man has hardly been around during the child being raised. Of course, we can argue that might be because of their work situation and how they've they've both delegated time and responsibilities around the house and the child. But either way, if that is the case, then you can fix that by being around more and doing this very simple thing that you've offered to do, which is giving the child some attention of your own. Like, oh no, imagine having to do that as a parent. No, you guys don't understand. OP's wife gets a 2-hour break before and after work every day. I think this comment screaming makes a good point about this. If he thinks he needs a vacation, imagine what his wife must be feeling like. But the OP is at least responsive to a lot of the comments. There are some questions or the answers. Just bouncing off what we've originally learned is the fact that, oh, it's fine. She has 2 hours before and after work to do whatever she wants. Response goes into, okay, and in those hours, she is likely doing housework or just basic stuff like showering and peeing without a child hanging all over her. Not to mention, she's also likely still running through the never-ending list of stuff that moms, by default, are responsible for. Groceries, dinner, appointments, any events coming up. Ooh, the OP's read that word, the groceries and dinner, and he thinks he has a valid counter-argument. Groceries and dinner can't take that long. We had frozen lasagna twice and leftovers twice in the week before she left. Like, my man, where do you think the leftovers come from? It's great she's practiced some establishment of bulk cooking, but damn, this man's gonna live the bachelor lifestyle next week and be like, hey, why is there no leftovers in the fridge? They're normally just there when I open it. And to further put the nail in the coffin, who does more household chores? She does. And on top of that, she also works 15 hours a week. Yes, not exactly as much as someone working full-time would, like this man does, but still, she might as well be full-time considering she's put up with all the extra responsibility. There's also that obvious question, why not just put the child into some sort of 4-day vacation or daycare of sorts? Well, Chloe doesn't do well when she's away from her mum. She'd scream the entire 4 days. And apparently, though they take her to daycare consistently throughout the week, it's more so on and off. It's a couple hours a day versus 4 days straight, whereas something that would completely make her lose her mind. I think we'll just end it on this zinger here. Autistic children are often reliant on routines, and that means you aren't involved enough to be a part of her routine. Step it up, dude. Yeah, there's a reason she wants mum more than you, mate. It's because you're clearly never around to be responsible for her. Over to another Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for telling my friend to man up or not come to my wedding? Context. Me, 31 male, and Taylor, 30 male, have been best friends since forever. We were school buddies, college friends. My parents love him. We've vacationed together many times. Taylor is a very affectionate person, kind, thoughtful guy. 3 years ago, me and Anne, 31 female, started dating. And now I'm pretty sure she's the love of my life. Brilliant woman all around. We're getting married next January. The conflict. After a long and thoughtful conversation, my fiancée voiced her concerns about inviting Taylor to our wedding. Basically, she had 2 main reasons for asking him that. 1, his dress code. Taylor is a 30-year-old punk. He wore a dress to our prom. You know, that kind of guy. 2, Taylor is dating a guy. Which is not the problem, but his partner is also very flamboyant. Oh, that's totally legitimate then. She doesn't hate him because he's gay, she hates him because his partner is gay, who is a guy that he's dating as a guy. Okay, maybe that is the problem. Anne wants a very minimalist, quiet, calm wedding because she struggles with anxiety and ADHD. So that was her request. Because nothing triggers your anxiety more than a man walking around flamboyantly. Is that masculine male flicking his wrist? Ah! My wedding! It's ruined! I talked to Taylor the next day, and I told him about Anne's concerns. Tay said, "Do you think I'm gonna show up in a white dress?" And laugh about it. But I told him he needed to promise he would respect the dress code. Black tuxedo for the guys. That was the code. So here's the thing. Just saying that it's the dress code, that would have been fine. That would have been the most respectful way to address this. Unfortunately, OP exposed the fact that his partner is kind of basically a homophobe, so it's hard to respect them just wanting to adhere to a dress code at this point. That and how he justifies it next. I got a little caught in the moment, so maybe I was harsher than I should have been. I told him to man up and to act his age. I said some stupid stuff like, "People laugh about you. You want to be a joke?" He said, "Sure, no problem." And the next day, he declined the online invitation. He keeps telling me, "We're good and everything is okay," but the situation is bothering me. I love Tay, but I know he can be difficult. My group chat with my family is burning because they don't understand why he will not be there, and our friends group chat is dead since the news dropped. Am I the a-hole? Reiterating what we said in the top comment here. Yata. This could have been a really easy... Hey, it's important to my fiancé that everyone respects the dress code. Telling him to man up and act his age, people laugh about you, is beyond rude and mean. It's cruel. If I was Taylor, I wouldn't attend your wedding either. You need to apologize and take responsibility for being a prak if you have any chance of maintaining this friendship. Though, I don't know why Taylor would want to. More comments get into that idea of how strange it is for someone with anxiety and ADHD to use that as a justification for why they don't want the gays to be too gay at their wedding. One comment tries to defend this, saying it's quite reasonable for one to request that, but many other are suspicious that, no, this is just someone who is probably just homophobic, using it as a way to excuse themselves as, oh, I'm just neurodivergent like that. Now, I personally can't attest for that being a legitimate reason, nor can I attest it for being illegitimate. But from the outside in, it does genuinely feel a bit more like this, where it's the OP doesn't mind folks being gay, just as long as they know their place, and hide anything that might make other people think about it. But again, I am coming from the outside in towards neurodivergence and anxiety that can actually affect someone like this, where they want to have a calm social environment. So if any of you reading this or watching this video do have that sort of personal issue or experience in general, let me know from your side of things how you feel if this is legitimate or not. After all, these kind of things are on a spectrum, so it's not like we can really say for certain if it's completely justified or completely unjustified. But with that said, that is all the stories for today. Thank you, as always, for watching. Again, thank you so much for coming on by and coming on back to the channel. It's a pleasure reading all your comments while I'm sitting on the toilet, and I look forward to doing it again soon. And not just because it's literally my body's personal function as a way to reduce waste. That's a nice thing to talk about at the end of the video. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Bye. Bye.